Righto. Good. Hey, James, I'm telling you, I'm loving that goatee. Look at that goatee. It suits you, sir.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Let me tell you, are you putting any little beard oil in there or something like that, make it sexy?
No, I just, it's just the rough look, that's all.
Is it L'Oreal because you're worth it?
Yeah, I wish.
We're having a little bit of trouble getting Mike in. He's just got that black screen up there at the minute. Hello, here he comes.
I was doing my Zorro thing, and here I was.
Happy days, boys. I tell you what, as always, it's lovely to see you, Mike. I felt a bit sad today because my mucker's going to be moving out the village, and I had a little tear on the way home. But on pastures new, we'll all be good. So the only problem you got with seeing me is when you go to text us.
Yeah, well, no.
No, you're looking good, darling. You're looking good. Don't worry about it. Anyway, we've got James in the house. James is in his mobile home. Check his living accommodation. It's pucker. It's perfect.
He's called me. Is that your initials?
That's his name.
Yeah. It's taken me long enough to get a microphone and a camera working without me trying to change that name. Yeah. and no man can force a personage on another.
No.
Yeah, we were trying to talk about that today, weren't we? All this sort of stuff and how bad it is and how awful it is. But thankfully, Dave and his renegades has been out and putting the world to right. And he's going to tell you the stories, no doubt, what happened to this year, which is where we're alluding to. So it should be good fun tonight.
Yeah, well, I mean, last Friday, there was a call from the Kent Renegade crew to go to Sheerness to Bob White's house because there was another attempted eviction coming up by these particular bailiff company. So I got there. The bailiffs have already been. Now, for those of you that don't know, there was a high-profile case a few months ago in Maidstone Crown Court. The judge is now retired, Judge Jones Griffith Jones, David Griffith Jones or Jones Griffith. He's retired. He's hung his boots up. And we think they got some old codger judge in that was retiring anyway to use as a bit of a scapegoat. That could be true. That could not be. That's just us surmising. But the point is this. 2 Kent policemen were found guilty of unlawful trespass. Now, that was by a jury. See, that just shows you the law lies with the people and still does, thankfully. And Kent police now they're licking their wounds a bit because they now know that the people were going against their unlawful actions. They're not happy with what they're doing. The High Sheriff of Kent was there as well, which you don't see very often. The media's now got hold of this story. They're running with it. There's reporters there all the time, every time. So this story is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But interestingly enough, after Kent police have been found to be unlawful trespassers by a jury and a judge and deliberated upon, and Kent police have mounted no retrial or anything like that, they've gone away and thought about. I know they are thinking hard and fast about it. So anyway, last Friday the bailiffs attended, and I got there about an hour and a half late because I was in my little Velomobile, which I went all the way to Sheerness, and the bailiffs phoned the police, but the police wouldn't attend, and that's very damning for the bailiffs. But it just goes to prove one thing: if the police had turned up, there could have been a chance where they could have took the house. Very unlikely, because it's like Fort Knox now. There's all barriers up against the window. And there was about 35 to 40 of us. A beautiful, beautiful day. We had celebrations, parties, there was drinks, beer, loads of food, and everybody there was coming together in a common theme, and that was, if we unite, we can change this world and change this country. And it was a pleasure. The privilege was all mine to go there and see Bob and sit and have a chat with him. But the police wouldn't come out. You can go on to Kent Online. You can read the story. It's been covered by Kent Online and The Guardian. And more media are now picking up with this case, and it's becoming quite well known. We also see a week ago, a friend of mine, I do believe, Carl Hessian, had a bailiff come to his driveway, and he forcibly removed the bailiff from the area. So, and what had happened was, before I add you, FMC, I'm just going to finish this little story. I've just lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Because I said
about the bailiff.
This Carl Hessian, whether he's seen the judgment, I can imagine he has, but Carl actually moved this guy off of his driveway. Now, I can only think that's come about because of this high case that's gone on in Kent, where the police and that have been seen as unlawful trespassers. So we're in very, very exciting times. I've got to be honest with you. We really are. Anyway, let's introduce our nice new guest tonight. We've got FMCE Limited. Nice to see you. Who we got? I can't hear you. Oh. Hello, Frank. That's Frank,
evening all. Switch me glasses over so we can see everyone.
Yeah. How you doing, Frank? Lovely to see you. We've lost James for a second. I don't know where he's gone. He'll be back in a sec.
I'm out in the wilderness.
Oh, very nice. Very nice too. So what are you up to, Frank? Anything exciting?
Just get me garden growing, getting the food all sorted out. It's overgrown at the moment, but it has to be done. Everybody needs to start growing.
Can I just say, you look like you've got a big garden there.
Oh, it's massive, massive.
I'll tell you a little story about Frank, Mike. We was up in London a couple of years ago, and he gave me a hug round the waist and almost popped my rib cage out. He's very, very strong. I think he drinks iron brew.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, Frank grew up in Northern Ireland, didn't you, Frank? You had a hard knock life like we all have.
Yeah. I was born in Folkestone in '67, and then brought to Newry in 1969, right when the Troubles were starting.
Yeah, mate.
The new life was coming.
One of your mates got shot, didn't he, in Ireland?
Yeah, he got elbows, ankles, and knees.
By who? The Republicans, or
yeah? Do you know?
Yeah, the Republicans. Yeah, Republicans done it.
Do you know what his nickname is, Mike?
Go on.
Lucky.
He's not dead, is he? He's not dead. So
that's what I mean.
I found it.
You found it.
I found it. Yeah, it was wedged in my seat.
Oh, hello. There's private deals going on my channel. This is fabulous.
Are you getting a cut?
So next time I see you, I'll bring it back. Yeah.
By the way, for everyone out there, I'm not dealing on nothing. I'm nothing to do with none of that. But it's all good. It's all good. So yeah, did you see any coverage last Friday there, Frank, of us down in Sittingbourne? Did you watch any of it?
We were
What
busy.
was that now?
Did you see what happened at Bob White's? Did you see any live feeds from Laura and all that?
Yeah, I watched some of it. Done very well. The bailiff himself was very well conducted.
Yeah.
Listened to what Toby had to say. Went with the paperwork. Police turned up and said, they rang the police and said the police aren't turning up. They haven't got enough resources. And then the bailiff backed down and he's had a party.
But didn't it show you that it's the actual police, the element of the oh hello, we froze up now. Let me I'm going to turn my YouTube channels off because I think that might be playing. And it's very telling, right? Because it's actually the police that are facilitating and allowing these bailiffs to do what they do. Because as the police wouldn't turn up, the bailiffs couldn't go through and do what they did, you know?
No, they can't. They can't do it. The reason why they can't do it because they haven't got their Freemason friends to help them.
Yeah. Time's running out. I'm just going to briefly share my screen, guys. I want everyone this week to just, if they can, go and download this correspondence that this man's put together between the council, Malden District Borough Council, and him as a man. And it's, you can see Malden and District Council, Princes Road, Malden. This is by an EH, and Emma, whatever her name is, and she is a very top legal individual, and she's replying to their previous letter of, can you show us the obligation that any man or woman in this country is applicable to pay council tax? And she did do a good response, but let me tell you that this has been blown out of the water now. If anyone at home's watching this, because I do like to give people information, if you want to arm yourself, just find me and message me and I'll make sure you get a copy of this. You can go to the Peacekeepers site on YouTube and you'll see the video. It's Malden and District Borough Council tax rebuttal. If you click on the link, it will take you straight to what I'm looking at and what you're looking at now. But let me tell you, the way that they've put this together, it's not using any free man of the land. This is actually using the law and statute law. And it clearly says in here that Parliament is sovereign for sure, but it can only tell members of Her Majesty's government what to do. It can't tell the people what to do. And this is, honestly, this is just, I've never seen anything so as fabulous as this response. And I'm telling you now, this individual, which I'm going to show you her name at the bottom, she's done. There is no way that she can ever respond to this reply. It is fabulous. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you because it's very powerful, and not only will it help you with your council tax, anything else you've got in your life with regards to the police. It clearly says in that the system of England is not supposed to be adversarial. We're all supposed to be getting along. We're not supposed to be arguing with each other. We're not supposed to have the police gangsterising us. We're all supposed to be working together. Because back in the day before it was the Bill of Rights, people were going outside with swords and guns and having duels and killing each other. So the reason we got together for this element of law is so that we could be kind of civilized. Well, that means that there's limitations on Crown agents. It's a fabulous document, guys and girls. Any one of you at home, if you need remedy in anything, DVLA, councils, the police writing to you, get that, download it, and take pieces from it. And I'm telling you now, because listen, all men are created equal, and no man can create an obligation for any other man. It's just beautiful. It's equitable. It's proper, true equity. It's fabulous. It's really, really good. It's really good. So yeah, have you seen it, Frank? Have you seen that document?
No, I haven't. But I was listening to somebody there the other night that released a document to say that Parliament is not sovereign.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's not. It's not sovereign.
No.
The people inside may be sovereign, but Parliament cannot be sovereign themselves.
That's right, mate. Yeah, I agree. What do you make of that, Mike?
Well, I sit there gasping at the amount of information that's coming out now and how people are beginning to see the light. And it's astonishing that how quickly people are taking it up. And it's gratifying to know that these people that sit in Parliament are not going to get away with it too much longer, particularly as the police now have backed off from civil matters, or seem to be backing off. The best thing that happened really was those two couples breaking in the house and getting assaulted by the guy, and then getting found not guilty, and then being done for for trespass and everything else. So to all intents and purposes, it's working back to the people, back to us. We are the people, but we're just badly educated, and that's deliberately. I mean, I was listening to something last night and about being educated, and they were saying that when you go to school, you don't get taught about money.
No.
You don't get taught about money. You get taught how to find a job. I mean, the thing is, how many teachers, when you go and teach someone teaching ethics or Latin, or you go to school and you do carpentry, but then you go on into the world and you go into financial services. So all the things they teach you, most of the stuff they teach you is irrelevant, and it's just filling your mind with stuff. And basically, it's to get you a job. That's all they're interested in, getting you a job. And the difference between they want you to be employed, okay? But the difference between being employed and an entrepreneur is when you're employed, you earn a wage. When you're an entrepreneur, you earn nothing.
That's right.
So the point I'm making is that we are systematically ill-educated. We all think we go to school, got these GCEs, but basically, I've got seamanship, navigation, ship construction, technical. I went to London Nautical School, so I got all these exams and all that and all this stuff. But what good's it doing me? I'm 71. What good's it doing that I know about a rivet in the side of a boat? Nothing. So what was the point of it all? What is the point? So why don't schools teach our children what they really need to know? And why don't we get educated to how to go out and face the world, not as an employed person, but someone who's be able to pick up a piece of paper and go, I could make this into £1 million, like I did. When I turned a piece of paper with 3 telephone numbers in and made £1 million. And that's
well, look, Russell,
and I don't work for anybody. I work for myself. Like you do.
Yeah, no, it should be. Russell Birch has just popped in. He told me some sad news yesterday that a friend of his who's just turned 32 has left a really sad suicide note, and he's hung himself. Bless you. He's hung himself, and it's basically along the lines of I can't cope with this world the way it is anymore, and I'd rather not be here. It's unbelievable. The amount of suicides this year alone is 439,000.
Worldwide?
Worldwide suicides 439,000, going up all the time. It's unbelievable. There should be. Look, if you've got people committing suicide, that's a failing of the system. Where's the support? Where's the love? Look, the system to me is like a crocodile tears. It's whenever you come into conflict, they all sit there with their clipboards and they go divorce proceedings. Oh, yes, yeah, we're listening. Oh, you've been a bad man and that. But really, and I pointed this out years and years ago when I was going for a little bit of mediation. I went for one session with my ex-wife and I sat there and I looked at these 4 with clipboards and they went right for me like with the jugular. And I went, excuse me, shut up, all of you. You're only here for one thing. How much is it tonight? They said 80 quid. I said, there's your pieces of silver. You don't know me. You don't know her. What the hell do you think you know? Who are you trying to what's your purpose? If you was genuinely interested in it, you'd do it for nothing and you'd pop round for a cup of tea, make sure we're all right. This is bullshit. And I got and walked out. And she followed me out 5 minutes later. She went, that went well then, didn't it? And I thought, you know what? I've got no time for these people. Where's the support? Where's
Well, Russell, he's talking about long ago the world community with common unity. The problem with common unity is avarice, and the unshakable thought that keeping up and those people who something. My mother was like this. She was always she was nasty to people, not nasty, but she was envious. That someone had more than she had, and it took a long time. And it was only when I started making so much money that my mum suddenly became a realist. I suddenly understand that avarice is in here. Everybody starts out the same. It just depends on how you lay your cards and how you play your cards. Now, I had a rotten childhood in as far as I was a tearaway. I did all kinds of terrible stuff. And when I got to 21, I got married, and it sort of sorted me out a bit.
It does.
When I got to 39, and I started my own business, and I started making a huge amount of money, and I bought the Ferraris, I bought the fast with the big houses, and did all that stuff. Okay, nobody came along and gave me that. And the point I'm making is that we can all do that. We've all got it in us to do that if you really want to. But most people take the easy way out, the secure way out. They think they've got a wife and kids and everything else. And I'll give you a little story. I was sitting in I've just bought this I had a 355 Spider, and I was sitting. It was beautiful, brand new. I was sitting all clean, and a man came along with a little boy. Little boy was about 8, 9, and he came along with his dad. And he said, "Oh, Dad, look at that, Dad." And his dad said, "Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?" And he said, "Well, Dad, why haven't you got one of those?" And I said, "Whoa!" I said, "I'll tell you why he hasn't got that, because he's got you. That's why he hasn't got that. He decided to have you rather than have one of these." And and the dad said, he said, "Well, looked at me and sort of mouthed thank you and walked off." The point I'm making, he could have had both. He could have had both if he was an entrepreneur.
We do. I mean, we come into the world. We generally come into work. That's, I haven't really known any different over the years. I've got a bit of an easier life now. I mean, in my 20s and 30s, I was nose to the grind. I just didn't have no time to stop and look up. But I think the trouble is now, most people that are operating in the system, that they can't see any. There doesn't seem to be that ability to carve that out. You've got to be quite lucky. And my neighbour next door, he started off pig farming years ago in the 50s, and he lost this and done that. But I wouldn't even as a guess to see what his physical financial worth is. But back in the day, he used to buy up land for cash, and he'd go to a solicitor's and go, "There's that 350 quid for them 5 acres over there." And then over the years, he's been selling it all off as he's retiring. A lot of it's now been chucked in trust for his son. He's only got one son. But the point I'm trying to make is, people back then, there was far more opportunities. Now, with all of its taxation on food and all that, people, I'm telling you now, that they're struggling like mad. But I've just heard today that there could be Boris. I don't know how true this is, by the way, but this just popped up a little while ago. That Boris has gone to the Privy Council, and they're now talking about getting rid of the fiat currency and bringing back gold and silver standard. Now, that would be really, really, really good. Really good. It freed the people, because the trouble was, when we come off the gold and silver standard in the 30s, we became the chattel, right? It was always that the gold and the silver and the derivatives was the element that created the money and kept the currency going on that. But then we became the chattel. I think that's to go. So if that's the case, that's quite a winning move, because it means the liabilities off of our shoulders. Because look, the Bill of Rights says that you can't prejudice the people. Don't care who. There's limitations on the Crown and its agents. That includes councils. That includes the police. There's limitations. There's things that you can't do, and you cannot prejudice the people because of their ancient laws, liberties, and customs. And that still applies today. So if that's true, that could be really, really interesting. Chrissy Morris has popped in. I'm just going to pop these comments up in the room. So what do you make of that, Mike, going back to gold and silver, seeing as you're a bit of a money man?
Well, I mean, I can remember when, as a little boy, used to watch, and they used to say, the pound's worth this, there's a basket of currencies, the pound's worth this. And we have 330,000 tons, or 330 million quid worth of gold, and that was set against the currency, the debt of the country. And they got, and then along came Gordon Brown, changed it all, sold it all off. So while I agree with you, and it's absolutely right, because as you said to me before, to many people that, if you go out and buy a car with gold or silver, they can never take that away from you. That's yours for life.
Equity.
Absolutely. So the thing then is, if they're going to go back to the gold standard, that means they've got to have enough money for every pound there is. You've got to be able to support the currency. You know,
now what he's saying is
can I just jump in there for a second?
Yeah, go on, Frankie. Go on, Frank.
They've just found hundreds of tons of gold in Uganda.
Yeah.
It's worth hundreds of trillions. It's worth.
Oh, I see that. It looks like a mine, a carved out mine. I've just seen that.
Yeah. It's worth. It can sort the world out 5, 10, 15 times over.
Yeah, you see, the thing is, going back to gold standards are very well and good, but people don't really understand the significance of what that means, and it will never be fully explained. A lot of people wouldn't understand it anyway, and if it was, they'd be sat down for a week in a classroom and explaining what it was, because it's a complicated issue. It's all very well for us to sort of sit and say and pontificate about, I'll go back to gold standard. It's a great idea, but the reality is, for the average man in the street, it means jack shit. It doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't mean anything to them. You know, we understand, you know, what it means and where it will lead us to, and the significance of it. But to the average person, it means absolutely nothing. It's like talking about interest rates. The only time they see interest rates when their mortgage goes up. They don't understand that everything else, as the pound drops, so it's up to 140, say 6 months ago. It's now down to 180, 120. They don't understand the significance of that. It means that everything is done in dollars. And because everything's done in dollars, everything starts to cost more money. That's when you start getting inflation. The reality is, and the problem is, that unless we prop up the current, and the interest rates went up today to 1.25%, the interest rates have got to go up to about 3 or 4%. That's the only way you're going to stop there. If you do that, you're going to have a lot of people, you know, Dave, you're going to be busy every 24/7. There'll be bailiffs around everybody's house, because nobody knows what it's like to have interest rates at 6, 7, 8%. When I bought my first house, I paid 8%. 8% interest. Now everybody goes, oh, how could you afford that? Well, we did. We didn't think about, oh, it's a lot of money. We bought a house. Now people say, oh my God, I've got to pay 2%. I'm on a tracker mortgage. I'm safe. No, you're not. Because, I mean, you say if you're earning 50 grand a year, and all of a sudden you've got to find another 2 grand a year out of your 50 grand, then where are you? You're dropping down the list, and all of a sudden your standard of living starts dropping with you. So unless
do you think? My missus says so. It was at the dinner table earlier. We had dinner in the garden, a bit of al fresco. She was topless and I was bottomless. But she said there could be a property crash. She said property is going to crash out. I said, well, no, in all truth, it needs to a little bit. I think it needs to. I mean, my mortgage went up years ago to 15%, and I was only 22 at the time.
That's all very well. It all becomes relative. You see, look, I'm moving tomorrow. My house, right? So my house is £500,000 worth, right? Just right.
You could cash in here. You could really cash in.
Yeah. So my house was £500,000 worth, right? And I sold my house, and I sat and I got £500,000. Now, because I understand what's going on, I could rent, like I've got to rent somewhere, because I could be going to America, but I could go and rent and sit on that money, and then as our property prices have dropped, and I'm quids in, because I buy a property that will be 50, 60 grand cheaper than it would be right now. However, as we move along that line, everything becomes relative, because everything starts costing less. So the house that you're selling costs less, but the house you're going to buy costs less. So basically, it self-adjusts itself.
Oh, yeah, of course it does.
So really, that doesn't really equate. Where it does really matter, and where it does hurt, is when people start going in spending. Say you've got your a family with 4 people to cut the kids, and you're spending say £700 a month on groceries. All of a sudden, it's £900. Okay, and like petrol. I mean, I've got a car that, fortunately, it's not a Maserati or a Ferrari anymore. But I've got a Lexus, and I put 80 quid worth of petrol into it. Okay, so because I won't put E10 petrol into it, because that is designed to ruin cars. You know, that's like
it's like 2 years ago they didn't want you leaving. They didn't want you going any more than 5 miles away from the house, and now you can't even afford to put £5 worth or 5 miles worth of petrol in the car.
Well, that brings us a very interesting point, because that's what a cashless society is prepared to do, isn't it? Cashless societies, I think me and you were talking about earlier, Dave. Cashless society means that if you've got a bank card and that you live, say, like me and David right now in Staplehurst, and we say, oh, me and David are going to go to London. Well, they don't want people to go to London, so you go to the train station, you put your card in, because it's cashless, the card don't work. Or they don't want you to travel out Staplehurst more than 5 miles. So you go to a shop 5 miles away, nothing works, because they've turned your card off. Just like they're going to do with the smart meters. Smart meters designed so when things get really shit hits the fan because they've underinvested in nuclear power, like they should have done 30 years ago when they had every opportunity to build, they said, no, we're going to go to the green agenda. We'll just tax people more and the green agenda will work out well. What did they do? What's happening now? They are now going to run out of energy. Where are they going to get the energy from? Fucking wind? Waves? No. What they're going to do is they're going to turn off your meters, because smart meters are linked to a central computer and they'll be able to cut you off. What do you think they're going to do when your car, when all the cars, all these electric cars, all stuck into the side of the wall there, drawing petrol, and there's no energy all of a sudden? They'll reverse that and suck all the. And people laugh at you and say, that can't happen. But that's what he's designed to do. They'll suck all the powers out of the car and put it in the national grid.
They can't turn your power off because the system and agents of the government can't be adversarial.
Dave, when did that ever stop doing anything?
Well, there is
exactly. You're right.
All them charging points that they're putting in now are going to be smart, right? The national grid can't cope with everybody charging the car up when they get home from work, right? So they're going to limit the amount of electric you can put through them. Right, so if you want to do a long journey the next day, but you've only been putting in 2 kilowatts per hour, you're going nowhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I saw a car that's been launched in London. It takes 2 hours to charge it. It does 48 miles. It's the size of a desk.
I've got an electric car. I'm a Frank.
Yeah.
I went to Frank's. I went to Frank's at the weekend. And I thought, I'll nip back and charge at Frank's, because Frank is really generous with his electric, aren't you, Frank?
Yeah.
Right. I only have the 3-pin plug charger, and it wouldn't work at Frank's, right? On his really green electric. So I had to drive to the bloody motorway to find a fast charger just so I could get home.
And how much did that cost you?
I don't know. I only put about 10 quid worth in, because I only needed enough to get home, because I run off solar. So I usually charge my car off solar or some free nice electric of anybody.
Do you know this?
Anywhere there's a 3-pin plug, I'm in it. Yeah.
But this the fallacy is that we're all going to run out of oil. Under America, there's 400 years of oil and gas.
Oil regenerates itself. It's the second most prevalent liquid on this.
So they reckon that right now there's 400 years of oil and gas underneath America. And Biden, it's not Biden. Biden's too thick to decide, how to do his shoelaces up. And then it's if he gets the right shoe on a foot. So, I mean, as far as he's concerned, he's just following this green narrative, like duck-faced Doris. What is the point of a green agenda when we're not ready for a green agenda? We're not ready.
They're dumping the oil and everything. In America, they're dumping the oil and everything in fields and on the roads. They're dumping it.
Can I say something? In the 70s, we were told we were going to run out of oil. These are facts. Yeah? Right. And I remember, I'm just going critical thinking here. I remember them finding new oil fields here and new oil fields there. Yeah? Right. When was the last time we found a new oil field?
Oh, recently.
There hasn't been many. There hasn't been many, right? We're now making everything out insulation, Kingspan. Every household has 3 or 4 cars, all plastic. Yeah. Everything that we have is plastic. It's all made from oil. Where the hell is all this oil coming from if it was meant to run out in the 70s and it regenerates itself?
50 years I gave it. 50 years they gave it.
Yeah, but look what we've got now. They didn't imagine we were going to have all these cars, all this stuff.
We got
Right? We should have run out years ago. That was the 70s. That is 50 years.
We're a system that operates on scarcity tactics. We don't never do anything where we can have abundance. This is what bothers me. Where's the abundancy?
You're out of sync, Dave.
It's been stolen off us, hasn't
it? You're speaking, but you can see your mouth moving. That's happening.
Sorry.
That's it, knackered. As a plumber, you know about sinks.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Where's the abundancy? We're all scarcity. We're not going to have enough fuel. We're not going to have enough fuel. Where's the abundancy? We've got an abundance of everything. We can do what we like. I don't get why as a people we're like this. It's irrational to have this situation. It really is. We give the world the jet bloody engine. We're
television and radar.
Right. So we're innovators. We're creative. Where are all the creators? Where are the people saying, "Oh, we've got an engine now that runs on distilled water"? Where's we've got an aeroplane that runs on distilled water? Where are they? Where are they?
Dead. They're all dead.
No,
yeah.
They're all... every time somebody came out, and this is true, ever since there's been the Rockefellers and everybody else found oil, okay, ever since that time, every time somebody came along and tried to patent a way of producing fuel for a car out of chicken shit, they could make oil, make petrol or fuel like an ethanol. Okay, they could make it. I think it was made out of chicken shit even. So all these oil companies came along and bought them all up. So they bought all these good ideas up, and so we're now sitting there. They've got fabulous ideas. I mean, and they're sitting there going, "This is lovely." You know, I mean, a barrel of oil right now for them to produce costs exactly the same as it did last year and the year before. Okay.
Yeah.
How long ago? How many years ago was it when it was negative? When you couldn't give it away?
It was the same price in about 2008 as it is now.
Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, but you remember that this is what's interesting, because when the S&P were talking about, we're going to be going independent, oil was $147 a barrel. It was 140. It's 131. I think. So and was petrol as expensive as it is now? No, it wasn't. But it was $147 a barrel. Now, Richie Sunak, our Chancellor, wonderful Chancellor Exchequer, gave 5p off a gallon of a litre of petrol. Okay, but he already knew before he did that 5p was going to be gobbled up within 2 weeks, and I think it didn't even take 2 days. So the reality was that all of a sudden that 5p, he'd already caught that because the cost is going up because the successive governments are creating demand. So they've got the same amount of petrol. Why does it cost more?
That makes sense.
If there's a shortage, when's the last time you queued up for a gallon of petrol until the government the petrol's going to run out? You just want to drain the tank, get rid of E5.
This woman up north the other day, Queen of Freedom up, she phoned up National Grid and she was having this chat with this nice fella. It's beautiful that social media is bringing all this to the forefront. And she said to this guy, she said, how much of a percentage does the National Grid get off of everyone's domestic bills that are being charged by British Gas, Octopus and all these? And he said, we get 2%. So if you're paying £100 a month on your electric bill to Octopus, the National Grid are getting £2. Come on, peeps, it's time, man.
Do you know your government? You know your government goes to the National Grid and they ask him how much will it cost to supply the whole of England domestic, and then it's put upon them it'll cost you such and such. Right, we'll pay that out of the tax money that the people have been paying, and we'll have that contract till 2024. So your gas and electric has already been paid through your taxes, and now they're coming along and double dipping you.
Yeah, of course they are.
I think these truths need to come out. We had charlatans running this show.
When they build one of these nuclear reactors for whatever billion it is, that money that is paid by us, yeah, it's oh shit. What was I going to say? It's already paid. We pay for the electric and the actual nuclear reactor and everything. We pay for the whole damn lot. And like Frank says, they come at us again. We've already paid for it.
Yeah, well, that's what the reality of that is that the government don't want to pay it at all. So they first of all they got the Chinese involved, right? You've got the Chinese were to come and spread loads of trillions of dollars and build nuclear power. So EDF came in, the French they came in, and they're having an argument now about whether they're going to build the new reactor. I think Sizewell C even. So I mean, a friend of mine works in. So I get a lot of this knowledge anyway. He works for Atomic Energy. So they're talking about by building local atomic power stations. That means they won't supply a huge amount onto national grid. They'll supply areas, and that's what they'll do.
Oh yeah, the police are out. Look.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it is.
Come on, Frank, you can hit to ride home.
It could have done. Yeah, absolutely. From the lift.
We do that here, Frank. Anyway, just have a nice time. Yeah, I just cut my arm. Yeah, I just wiped a bit of blood off.
Did you know Harriet Harman is a director of, is it Centrica?
Oh, well, there you go.
There's a surprise.
Yeah.
There's a surprise.
You can't go on company's house either, can you? Tomorrow, is it tomorrow they're closing it or today?
Oh, I don't know, mate. I don't. Oh, Frank's back. Frank's obviously been chasing. Did you get it, Frank? Give me a catapult. Go on.
Go on, lads.
He's got his catapult out.
Who are they?
Joyriders, eh?
Two kids riding around on the scooter or motorbike.
Having fun.
Having fun, yeah.
Having fun. That's what we used to do. We used to have fun.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I was a kid, when you had no money, you had more fun you do now with hundreds of pounds in your pocket.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You did.
Yeah, but this day and age, when they're going around on bikes like this, they're either snatching phones out of people's hands or sporting bikes.
Or they might just be having fun.
Yeah. They are. That's what they are, having fun. But when they were coming across the green directly to me, and I thought, are they going to try to go for my scooter here? I hope so, because they're going to go out live to hundreds of people here.
What's really interesting is that the Kent County Council wrote to us, I think you must have got one of these, Dave, saying 51% of what we now get in your rubbish goes for recycling.
They're selling it off.
51%. How long they be collecting it? You have to separate this from that and that and that. And only 51. So where's the other 49% going?
Oh yeah.
Drax Energy burn it all. Drax Energy burn it all. Don't they?
So they burn it all and they create energy. They burn it all.
Yeah. Hey, and Drax Energy was he not on Superman?
So when you think about it, when councils come and take your waste and do all these other bits and they're selling it all on, basically they're paying for their self anyway to operate. So why are they asking people for council tax money?
Yeah.
You want to see the amount of money that they actually make out of your recycle. It's in its millions.
It is. My mate, I lent my mate many years ago, I let a friend of mine 50 grand and he started a recycling plant and he died. When he died after tax, he was worth 75 million.
Shoot.
There you go.
There's money in muck. Absolutely. And he had people there working flat out 24/7, separating the stuff by hand mostly. And then he was making an absolute fortune out of aluminium and all kinds of stuff, and all the stuff that they went off, as you say, to be burned, and it was burned in power stations. It was, and that's a fact.
Energy comes from burning rubbish.
Yeah, as they say, one man's rubbish is another man's riches.
There's money in muck. There's rustling muck. Absolutely.
That's in muck.
Where there's muck, there's money.
So all along, when I was a kid, there was I was born when Winston Churchill was Prime Minister, okay, and there was a king. It was, the Queen's dad was still on the throne, and he was just about to pop his clogs. However, when I was a little boy, you didn't hear about Macmillan, and you didn't hear Anthony Eden, only because of the Suez crisis and Churchill resigning in 1955, 6, whatever it was. And so the point I'm making is that central government had very little part to play in your daily life. It was very small government. The local councils, they ran your life. They ran everything. From everything you did was all covered by the council. And it was a much better existence. You paid a certain amount of money. My mum and dad, they were council tenants. You paid a certain amount of money through your rent, and you got everything. You didn't have to separate. You didn't have like a direct debit for gas, electricity. No, you didn't. Water. You didn't have all. And why the fuck do we have to pay for water? That's a God-given right for every man on the planet to have water good enough to drink. And in our county, Kent, the Garden of England, they say don't drink the water out of the taps.
No, not anywhere in this country. Everybody distills it if they've got any brains in their head.
That's right. Oh, don't drink the water up. There's bad. No, so let's go on to Evian. Let's give them more money. Let's have the French make some more money.
What does Evian spell when you spell it backwards? It says naive.
Naive.
Yeah. Well, Michael Jackson used to bring in like thousands of litres of it to wash in. And he flushed the loo in it as well. So there you go. Evian water. Well, in fact, I like Evian water. It's got a nice taste. But I've got to say that if you do taste the water, all you can smell is fluoride. And now they're saying, oh, you can't go swimming. Not enough chlorine. You have to close it. Yeah, not enough chlorine now. It looks like we might have to close. Now start getting sweating hot. We'll have to close the swimming pools because we can't chlorinate the water. Why not? They've got big filtration units. You're a plumber, Dave. Explain to us why they can't do that. If they filter in the water, okay, why is it they've got to close that because they can't chlorinate when it's already chlorinated to fuck?
You see, I mean, they just top it up, don't they, with the chlorine? I mean, I've never worked in this stuff like that, but I mean, they come in and do their tests. If the kids have been piddling in there and that, then they go, right, we'll whack a bit more in. I mean, I've been to some baths when they must have just saw them, and the steam makes your bloody eyes water years ago. Chlorine was unbelievable.
What's an interesting point you just made there? Oh, with little Jimmy Piddles in it. Well, what about when you go fucking swimming in the sea? What are you putting in your? You don't know what's been shit. Because the company just let a load of shit go out in the sea, and the tide brings it back up again. There you are swimming away. All of a sudden, you got mouth.
I don't think we put that much out in the sea now. What happens is they dry all the.
They put it in the rivers.
No, they don't. But
don't forget the fish have to shit and piss somewhere.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, but no,
let's be honest, Dave. Let's be honest. We're only drinking what dinosaurs pissed in.
Yeah. No, most human stuff now. Most human stuff, they dry it out and they put it on. The farmers use it as manure for their crops. I mean, it's no idea.
Yeah, it's called cake.
It's called cake. That's it. It's called cake.
Cake.
There is the same amount of water on the planet now as there was all those years ago.
Of course it is. You could be drinking a pint of water a day that Caesar was drinking.
Yeah.
Exactly. You don't know, do you?
No, you don't. And it still gets back to what we were talking about earlier, Dave. This afternoon, talking about how we're going to deal with the population of the world. The World Economic Forum, they want to get rid of half of us or more.
Well, there's a so they do want to get rid of a load of people. Now, this is a sorry subject. It's quite a tough one to approach. But there's an app. If you go on the Play Store, you can put in a thing called a Bluetooth scanner. And the very first one that comes up, you put it on your phone. And then when you go up to people, like my mate had it on his phone, he went up to some coppers in Chatham Dockyard and he said to this copper said to him, why are you putting your phone near me? He said, hang on. He said, you've had 3 jabs, didn't you? He went, yeah. He went, how do you know? He said, because I've got your serial numbers of your vials on my phone here. And this copper's jaw fucking dropped. He went, he went, what? He said, yeah, I've got all your information, your barcodes of what you've got in your body. He said, and he's picked it up on a Bluetooth scanner. Fucking, mate, it devastated him. He went, oh my goodness. Mate, listen, the police, they're all waking up. They're all, listen, and anyone.
Why do you think I'm sitting in the park?
Well, yeah.
I was, before it came on here, I was sitting in the park when my Bluetooth finder on, and people are walking up and past me, and boom, there it goes. Oh, here comes another one.
Wow. Fuck.
I swear to God, that's why I'm sitting there. I'm sitting here on the bench. The park is totally empty now. I'm the only one here. So I'm wondering, have they been sent a signal to all go home?
You don't know, do you?
Oh, yeah. I do it.
Hang on, James, he's breaking up. Yeah, he's breaking up. He's probably got a dial up. He's winding the handle up for the internet like that.
That's what I think. I've got to say, we've got a lot of people on tonight looking in, haven't we?
Yeah, lots of people. We're going out to Facebook Live. We're going out to YouTube as well. So hello, everyone out there, Facebook land, YouTube land. Lovely to see you. James is going to be back in a second. So what you've been doing, Frank, lately? It's nice to see you tuning in tonight, Frankie. Thanks for popping in.
No, thanks for taking me in. I'm just been getting myself, I'm smoking less. I'm smoking a thing called Mullen now, which is actually cleaning my lungs.
Good.
My legs aren't as bad as they were because of the drink that I'm on. I'm on ginger, lemon, limes, garlic,
nice,
turmeric, black pepper, and black oil, all mixed together. And the doctor says, I can't understand this, but your cholesterol is actually lowering and it's dissolving.
Hey, well, that's because of what you're putting into your body, isn't you?
Yeah. So that's what I can get out and about now. I can get walking. I can get out instead of sitting on my ass all day. But I wasn't sitting on my ass all day doing nothing. It's research. Yeah.
Exercise is good. Exercise is very good. Actually, whilst we got a quarter of an hour left, I'm just going to share this screen very briefly and show you this website. It's about claiming back your estate. Now, I chatted with a mate of mine earlier, and he said that this website is the closest thing that you're going to get to getting yourself sorted out. And it was called, oh goodness, Omnipotent, but now it's called Successors.ca, and it says all the proof in one PDF. Learn the powerful secret, self-determined under natural laws. Never lose your rights again. Learn the laws that are hidden and kept you subject to a secret land trust created at birth. Ignorance is no excuse. So find yourself over on this website. There's a little video you can watch there. It says Successors will teach you about the foundation of land tenures, uses, trust, systems of English law and equity, as well as natural law. From where it came, Successors is based on one specific issue, which is how one becomes subject to another entity and how to remove oneself from being subject to another entity, how to make sure you never become subject again by tacit acceptance due to lack of knowledge. In English law, this is called ignorance and make you incompetent in law and not able to be seen sui juris in law, meaning in your own right within common law meaning. So it's well worth a look, and I'm going to be digging right into that for next week's show. And incidentally, next week's show, Mike's going to be coming from Westmoreland because this is
Westmoreland, darling. Can I just say that Westmoreland, darling, is the place to live. I mean, they're so rich. They're really rich. There's a lot of really rich people there, and I don't know why they're letting me in. I'm a homicidal geezer. You're
going to be all right, mate.
I went around with the. How's this? What is wrong with people? I live in this lovely house. It's in a little complex, and you have to pay for an allocated, which is extra, allocated car park space. So when I went there last week, there's a guy parked there, and I found out who he was. So I go to the front door, I'm ringing the door like you do. I said, "Hello, I'm your new neighbour." And I said, "Could you kindly move your car?" He said, "Ain't mine." He put the intercom down. So I went up to say, "Is this his car?" He said, "Yes." I went back and said, it is your car. Would you move it? And he wouldn't open the door and go and move the car. So basically, the point I'm making, this is what's wrong. I mean, what on earth was that guy thinking that I wouldn't at some point bump into him? I'm going to say, what is your problem, mate? You know,
yeah.
I mean, what is your problem? Why would you just be fucking ignorant and not open the door and say, I'm really sorry, mate. I've got some work on. Is it something you need to do straight away, or can you work around it until I can get out and move it? But he didn't. He just blanked me. So what do? I'll either go out and punch him in the face, or I'll just ignore him, or I'll just become a little bit petty and sort of make catty comments. Well, I mean, I'm too old to punch him in the face. He might be younger than me, but if it was 20 years ago, I'd have kicked the fucking door down and dragged him out. Because I mean, there was no excuse for that, and that's what's wrong. It gets back to what we were talking about earlier about how we are now.
Manners.
We are not nice to people. We're not nice to each other. I talk to everybody. I try to be reasonable. I'll buy anybody a drink, and I'll stand at the bar and talk all night about whatever you want to talk about. And I have to say that for me, it's the nicest thing that you have. The ability to communicate with people in a positive manner, and not take people. I mean, it's like you walk into a room of 50 people you've never met, and they are just 50 who are not yet your friends.
Manners maketh man. Manners maketh man.
Well, exactly. And it's heartbreaking when people are so
rude, Frank's taking us for a little trip down his village. He's on the scooter, man. This is fabulous viewing.
What of a brick wall?
Yeah, look at Frankie go, man. He's got his video in one there.
Where are you, Frank? Where is he?
He's like Annika Rice, isn't he?
Where are you? Yeah. Well, she's coming back, Annika. Where are you? Are you in Ireland? Is he in Ireland?
No,
we're in Manchester, Bury.
Oh, you bet. Oh God, really? I'd rather be in Northern Ireland. Manchester. But not Bury.
Manchester's nice. Everywhere's nice. It's just
not as nice as it used to be. It's just not nice. It's overcrowded and it's lost that je ne sais quoi. It's like London. I mean, you go to London. I sat in a bus the other day, and there must have been on the lower deck 15 people, and I was the only white man on the bus.
It is what it is. You won't be on a bus next week. You won't be on a bus next week. There's a bus strike.
Exactly. Well, Dave, I can't be a racist because of Maxine's black.
I know. And she's not just black, she's beautiful.
Well, yeah, she'll be a lot better when she's got herself sorted out. She lost all that weight that she's got because of this illness. But once that's sorted out, it looks like it's being sorted, she'll lose all those pounds.
She's lovely. You make a lovely couple.
Lovely couple of tits. Yeah, I know.
Hey, anyway. It's just coming up past 10 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. Frank's taking us all the way home. We get the scenic tour here tonight. I hope you got your stability elbows on, Frank. I hope you don't come off of that. Do you know what I mean? He's funny, isn't he? You don't get this on the BBC, do you? You don't. We could just go past and witness a drive-by, and now we get it live. Go straight out there.
This is Bury sur la Mer, isn't it?
This is Sur-la-Mer, Bury. This is
Manchester. Absolutely.
This is a live link from Frank McLaren.
I've got to say, look at that beautiful landscape and the trees.
Look at the speed he's going. He must be going over 30.
He's banging along here.
Oh, hello.
Frank,
we've lost you.
He fell off his scooter.
I hope he's all right. He could have come off. Someone could have come out and shot him. You don't know, do you?
He could have been waylaid.
Anyway, Frank, if you want to come and join us, please do again. Anyone else that's in the Facebook chat room, anyone that's in YouTube, wherever, Wake Up chat room, if you want to come in and say hello to us, please do. The links been provided in the Wake Up chat room tonight and the other platforms as well. We've got about 15 minutes left, Mike. Have you got the back screen up on your computer with Sandy Smith and I think that's his missus there? Can you see that in the background?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Yeah, Sandy Smith. I don't know what that's all about, but we love Sandy Smith, and he done a good show. Oh, and well, thanks for sitting in for me last week, lovely. That was really nice of you.
It was Alan. Alan sat in, and I just joined in the throng, like we normally do. It's a nice thing to do. All those people out there, like hanging on every word. They're not really. They think we're, It makes hopefully it makes people think about what we say, whether you agree with it or not. And hopefully you don't agree with everything, but you take issue with it. You feel I'll prove him wrong. You want people to challenge you, and and it's only my ideas and your ideas. I mean, you speak from scripture, and a lot of people so many people now on YouTube are like this, who are doing these sort of things and reverting back in like one was talking about Corinthians that day, and Timothy.
Are you watching a guy called Messages for Our Times?
No.
Are you not watching him? He's up Norfolk way. He's really good.
No, these are American guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and because I find American news fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, because the characters are so big. They're so big, and they sort of like Fox News, with Sean Hannity. Well, shut up, and this big Texas drawl, but they talk about these larger than life characters. It's like looking at Disney. Where's we got a sad bunch like Keir Starmer? I mean, what on earth is that a man? That's a sponge. It's like saturated in shit because the man is incapable of putting two reasonable arguments together. I mean, I watch him. I mean, if you want to have someone who's someone to take on the Conservatives and give them a hard time and prove a good opposition. But these people are the good opposition because they're useless. And in fact, how many people in Parliament can you name on one hand who you would really consider to be Prime Minister?
I wouldn't even leave my kids with them.
Name, right, we've got Boris Johnson, right? He's Prime Minister. Who is anybody out there got an idea who could be Prime Minister? Liz Truss, no. Dominic Raab, no. I mean, Starmer, no. Lisa Nandy, she's a fucking moron. And Angela Rayner, and Jesus just said it, cabbage more like. Yeah, and that's basically what they are.
What about getting rid of all the toffs, the conservatory boys, and putting ordinary working people, not in positions of power, but just in good ordinances that they do good things, and just let the banks carry on doing what they're doing? Look, we know that there's time periods when they shut the fucking place down. No one comes in, no one really does anything, but the country don't stop. We all don't say, oh, they've prorogued Parliament for 3 months, what we're going to do tomorrow. We get on with our own shit. So do we really need them? No.
What is the point of an MP?
We don't need them, Mike. We don't need them.
The only thing you need it for is so you've got more people who can have a Conservative or a Labour government. I mean, it all gets back to now like a republic. Now, we could have something where you've got, the Queen, but when the Queen's gone, what we got then? Charles. The thing is, Mike, and then you got William, who's another green agenda fanatic.
Yeah, but that it doesn't matter. See, the thing is with the monarchy, what we fail to realise, it's not about who's heading the ship. It's about the laws that govern these things. It's about the coronation oath. It's about that. It's not about the individuals. It's about what the monarchy means and the rule of law. That is it. It could be Jimmy Cranky up there sat where the Queen is. That's not what's restraining her or restraining her government. What should restrain her is the law that the people have established and based. That's it. I don't care who sits up there and says, I'm the Queen, I'm the King. No, their oaths are binding. It means to bind. And we've forgotten that. It really does come down to from when William and Mary jumped on and said, right, okay, so we've just deposed a king that thought he had a divine right. So now it's Parliament and the monarch together. Parliament assembled. So, but that Bill of Rights is a reminder to all monarchs and all parliamentarians of just what their obligations are. That's all.
They've got one obligation. That's to the people.
They can't prejudice the people. They're not allowed
that's
to.
their obligation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
To fight for the people and their way of life. Now, as we've got a bunch of scumbags who are 650 of them in Parliament, none of them, not one of them, deserves to be where they are. Not one. I cannot think of one of them there who I could put my hand on heart and say, I trust this guy. This guy's going to work for me. They're all self-serving.
If Parliament can be sovereign and the will of the people have to do what Parliament say, that if they come out on Monday and say that everyone's got to go down and jump off the cliffs of Dover, are you going to do it? No. So,
look at our one. Dave, look at our one. Ellen Grant. Helen who? Helen Grant. What has she done for me and you?
But the point is, Mike, the point is their system works exactly the way it's been designed, to subvert and to steal our equity. Nothing more. That's all it's designed for.
That's in a nutshell, Dave.
Yeah.
So what are we paying them for? What are we paying all this money out for?
Well, yeah, you can argue what we pay them for, but then again, if you go to the Bank of England and the Bank of England's own admission, it says we print money from fresh air. So
there's no such thing as money, is there?
No, it's just currency, credit and debits. Credit and debits. That's
all it is. I mean, I said the other day, someone said to me, the other day, and he's talking about money. Oh, they've got this money. I said, what money? What are you actually talking about? What money are you talking about? You know, you're talking about sort of this sort of money. We talk about that. We talk about that. That's just bits of paper.
That's all it is.
That means nothing.
A promise. A little bit of promise.
If I went like this, Dave, look, I want you to do some work for me. This is actually worth about 500 quid, right? So if I said to you, I'll give you this 18 karat gold or 18 karat gold ring to do that for me, and you say, oh yeah, I'll do that. That's worth, but you still think it's worth 500 quid. But it's not. It's worth, in your mind, is it worth 500 quid to come and fix the loo in my bathroom?
Well, the monetary system has blinded people. But if there is any truth in Boris has gone and taken counsel with the Privy Council about bringing back gold and silver back money, then as a nation, we might not like it at the beginning, but let me tell you, that would be the best thing, because what it does, it takes the liability off of us.
It does, but to the average Joe in the street, it means jack shit.
Well, it will do.
It won't be well explained, and people may not be incapable, but can't be bothered to sit down and see.
Right. I get what you're saying. But here's the element of trust. You would have to trust the people that are making these decisions to go back to gold and silver, that they're not in an adversarial situation, that they're not going to prejudice you, and that they're actually looking after your interests. And that's where we've all failed. We've all believed in times gone past and in modern eras that these people have our best interests at heart. And they don't. They don't. No, they're wolf in sheep's clothing. They are a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Whose interests do they have at heart? Their own.
Themselves. Their self. Their self. There you go. So we need to get rid of that.
5 minutes. We've got 5 minutes to wrap this up. And I have to say, it's been an interesting sort of subjects like ebbed and flowed. You know, we started and we're back to the gold. But you know, I like to think to end on something interesting and funny.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't. I'm the fact of me sort of sitting here like thinking, as I'm sitting there thinking, when I finish this, I've got to start packing some bits and pieces. I've got to sort my undies out, you know, put my socks in the bag.
Yes.
So I mean, it is. I mean, there's nothing really that's gone on that you thought, oh, Dave, that was funny, wasn't it? That was hilarious. And there's nothing that's happened to me recently. I thought, oh, that's hilarious. And there isn't. There's no fun in the world. You know. Well,
that's you'll have to come to the next bailiff, dude, because it gets your pulse going, man.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, the point I mean is like, I want someone to sort of come along and make me laugh. I mean, I love people who make me laugh, and like everybody does. They like being entertained, and we can entertain each other. We do, have a laugh when we get around here.
Yeah.
But, when I go out and drinking and all that, as you know, I'll sit down and talk to everybody, have a laugh with them, everybody laugh and do that sort of stuff. But I mean, but when you look further afield than just out that sort of 10 feet that we have as an audience, it's not about that. It's about what those people the other side that 10 feet away. How are they going to make me laugh? What have they got to laugh about? You hear people laugh in the pub, most and they're laughing because that's all they've got left. They don't love it in tears. And,
we have to keep the oil in the lamp shining. Look, when you consider what goes on, the reason, the motive that I have is to do what I do is so that if people watch and they pay attention, I don't want them to be ignorant. I don't want them to be naive. I don't want them to think that if they go to the NatWest and borrow 500 grand to buy a house, they've got a slave over for the next 500 years, that at the end of it, it's going to be theirs and it's going to stay in their family. That is not a reality. However, if we come back to gold and silver standard, that could be a reality because we could come back to true equity. The men and women of this country were never, ever supposed to be put up as chattel for this system. We were the sovereigns. We were the people that it had to work for. But we've become the victims unknowingly, and we've been unwittingly slapped into this situation. But my God, Jacob Rees-Mogg stood up in the Commons a couple of years ago, and he declared to everybody there, the Christ consciousness has returned. And that's perfect. The Christ consciousness has returned. There's no getting away from it.
I was just looking at the Richie the Brick here. He's going, hasn't the proposal Royal Mint to produce gold and silver coins? Yes, they have. They've always had the ability. They produce coins like you got in your pocket. Everything you got is coinage. So yeah, it's very easy. But basically, the problem is getting the gold. If you were going to produce gold coins, just for argument's sake, and you put them into the in the general population. The thing would be that they would very quickly be snaffled by other countries, people coming in and buying them, and so you start losing more than you're gaining.
Yeah, maybe.
I think the reality, the point is that the gold standard isn't about producing gold and silver coins. It's about.
I don't think though, Mike. It would just be this country going to it. I think they'll all have to go back.
I mean, Dave. I mean, let's be honest. Take a sovereign. Like the sovereign, that we buy that cost, I think, 100 and whatever, 300 quid, whatever it is. Now that's a sovereign. Now, what size coin, what size piece of gold would you have, to be worth £1 or £50?
Well, there you go.
How big would the coin have to be? I mean, would it be the size of a 5p piece, or would you get the piece of gold inset into another piece of metal? To say inside that is the equivalent of money, but then again, this is the problem that the gold then fluctuates.
Yeah, but I guess that's what makes the future interesting.
It does, but it's a complicated issue, and it depends how they go about it.
Well, things can't get any worse, Mike. Really, can they?
Oh yeah.
So
everything's going to get worse. To be honest with you, Dave, we're talking about people commit suicide, and we're talking about people in distress. You just recently been to see someone who came out of that and walked away and had a result. And I think, in all honesty, a lot of people are going to be in great distress as interest climb up. They're talking about in America going up towards 8%. And in this country, I could quite reasonably see them in the next 5 years being up back to 6 or 7, 8%.
Yeah, people ain't prepared for what's coming, but it doesn't matter because we'll always deal with it in the moment.
The thing is, Dave, sorry to interrupt you, because I know we're short of time now, we've got a couple of minutes. The thing is, we are better prepared now because there's people like you out there who can educate. If people want to listen in and take notes and follow the guidance that's given freely and from the heart, we're not asking for any money or anybody else. We're not even saying subscribe to the channel. Just say look in and take a view on it. And if you want to believe it, you can. If you want to challenge it, come on. We'd love you to come.
Yeah, you can all go to the Peacekeepers website.
Yeah.
Peacekeepers.org. There's everything on there for you to learn about legal authority, those governing a liable, lawful governance, duties, rights and obligations, right to survival, blah, blah, blah. and it's all for free. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be. And a kudos and credit to Brian and the others that have all had their input on there for Peacekeepers site. It's a fabulous thing. You know, we're supposed to give freely. If we've got time, we're supposed to give it freely. And if we stay together, as proved last Friday at Bob's White's house, 35 to 40 people stood there defiant. There were some very big fellas and there were some lovely women there exercising their lungs, getting their voices out, and the bailiffs just stood straight down. The police didn't turn up. We are in exciting times. We are, for goodness sake.
Let's hope it develops into a better,
it's got to.
a better, more coherent way of dealing with stuff. Not just like saying things that you think you know. Find out what you should know, and then stand and go, no, you can't do that because, and just know. And if you don't, then you call the renegades out.
Exactly. It's very simple because the rule of law says that everyone's equal and no one's above any other, and we're all subject to the rule of law. So no man can own another. So, and we're all born equal. So who has the authority to tell you anything?
We can always read the most exciting set of books on the planet, though, can't you? The most exciting books on the planet. You know what they are?
Go on.
Probably to your left hand, Dave. The Bible, because that's the set.
Oh yeah, the Bible is the equity.
The Bible isn't just a book; it's a collection of books, isn't it?
Well, it's the higher law. You see, even the Queen is subject to a higher authority, and that's God's law. Anyway, Michael. You've got to go. You've got to go and pack your smalls up. Thanks to everyone that's tuned in tonight. It's always a pleasure, never a chore. Thank you to James for tuning in. Thank you to Frank. Lovely to see you go. Hope you got home all right on your scooter, Frank. You didn't fall off. Mike, I'll see you next week when your new venue. I'm looking forward to it.
From West Malling. All right, darling. Lots of love. Always bless your hearts. And
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
God bless. Bye.
Take care.